Welcome to Project Monday, where I start a project and show up every Monday till it's finished, no matter how long that takes. Let's get started. So last week, we worked on a few panels and introduced a new alien, and this alien was the thought that I shouldn't start a project if I couldn't complete it or it wouldn't turn out well, and that was whether or not I had the skills to do what I wanted to do with the project. So it just really kept me from trying new things and finishing projects. And this thought came around my mid-teens, so I'd had quite a few years of drawing experience from my youth, and I knew what I was good at. I was really set in my ways. I thought that I had reached some limits, mainly because I was apprehensive about starting and trying new things. So I'd only draw things that I was good at drawing. It was a roadblock for me. So this week, what I want to do is I want to finish up those 3 panels from last week. And I did redo this panel here, so it's not in here right now. But we're gonna place all the panels in there. But first, before I do that, I want to actually paint this mat. So we're gonna go with a different theme. I was thinking about doing little picture frames around each panel, 42 panels in total. But I think I'm gonna hold off on that. For now, I want to get some color to the mat. So as I'm starting to put these panels in there, I'm seeing the project from a different perspective. It's just like anything I do with a picture or a drawing. I bounce around a lot from different areas on the drawing just so I can gain perspective for the overall composition. It helps me. It helps me on my journey through the projects that I start. So, with that being said, I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to use heavy acrylics, and I'm just going to make it a real colorful mat. So, without further ado, let's finish up those 3 panels, get this mat painted, and mount those panels. I also want to put in some text, start putting in bubble text around the different panels to signify what the thought was, what the alien was telling me in real time. So like this one was for tracing. The thought that if I had to trace something, that I wasn't an artist in some way, or that it was a taboo in some way. Whereas the next alien down here was about erasing. So that thought was about essentially if I had to erase any lines, my graphite lines, that the picture was ruined, that there was no sense in going on with the drawing since I had to erase something. Of course, over the years, that's all changed. So I want to introduce the text to these different panels. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set dots of different colors of paint, acrylic paint, all over the mat. Let's give it a go. And we're going to try to do this as quick as possible. We're just going to be random. where were we? So we got a drink right here. These 0.7 nibs are like fine liners. Really allow me to get into small spaces. This is a hack that I learned to shade. I just use a little bit of black, and then I roll the color into it. I'll leave just a little bit of white for highlights. Just get some of that shade in there. When I was younger, I really liked to go out and draw just about everywhere I could by myself. I would take a sketch, a little sketch pad, and let's go find a spot and sketch. It's something I really enjoyed doing. Something that just always kind of came natural to me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get in there with a brush like that. There's no way. With the brush nib. Yeah, you gotta have those small bullet nibs. For the tiny art anyway. For the tiny art. Got little stars back here. I've always wore a hat my whole life. It's always been about wearing hats. I felt more comfortable with a hat on. So hat makers have definitely made their money off of me. That's for sure. Alright. I'm going to get myself a set of blue jeans. It's not necessary to try to shade everything. So I won't be rolling this in black to try to shade my jeans every time. It'd be too much. Just a little bit here and there, just to kind of Give these tiny thumbnails a little more, or panels, however you want to say it, a little more credibility. And I like to practice wherever I can the different techniques that I'm learning and picking up along the way, messing with these things. Oh, stuck my hand right in the paint. Damn it. Just as long as I don't go back onto the picture with the wet paint, we're good. Yeah, whenever you're doing the rough sketch and erasing a lot, it doesn't always look like the outcome's going to be the greatest. But when you start adding color to it, it really starts adding a new dynamic to it. A new life breathes into the painting. Well, definitely, from a boy to this stage, my drawings were definitely getting better. It happened in small increments, and I didn't really notice, too much. I didn't give it a lot of thought. I was really apprehensive about trying new things, just because of past experiences. I'll give a little bit of shadow into the sweatshirt just to break up the concrete there from my sweatshirt. That I do feel is one of the biggest hacks and tricks with Posca pens to layering them, is to just get the color you want to layer it with and roll the pen in it, in the ink. Just gives it that subtle texture. We'll do this, then we'll come back over it with the black to redefine some of the lines. But we're going to let it dry before we do that. I don't have super long hair, but I did have longer hair when I was younger. From time to time. Not all the time. As a kid, the biggest thing was to fan your hair over, feather it over. We got pretty good at that, brothers and I. We all did it. Drawing this way really brings me back to when I was younger. Not that I really want to go back to when I was younger. It's something I really want to do. I like the age that I am. I don't mind growing. I'm getting older. It doesn't bother me. When I was young, I was always in a hurry to get older. I always wanted to be taller. I always wanted to be stronger. It's just the opposite for me. I wanted to be older. I remember standing in my grandma's kitchen and not being able to reach the water. I remember that. The water faucet. She had a little stool that my brothers and I could stand on to get water. My older brother, I don't really remember him being too short. There wasn't much of an age difference there. There was about 4 years, but by the time I was, thinking about that, my brother was already tall enough to be able to reach the water faucet. My younger brother wasn't, though. I always like to teach my younger brother things. I like to teach him his ABCs. I taught him how to tie his shoes. Taught him how to write his name in cursive. He's a lot of fun to play with. I love my little brother. I do love my little brother. He's my little buddy. I got good brothers. I love my brothers very much. Of course, my mom passed away here probably 10 years ago. A little less than that, maybe 9 years ago now. Trying to think of the time frame there. But she was my best friend. I would call her every day, or at least a few times a week. Spoke with her a lot. So not having that outlet or that family around really makes you want to preach to other people to conversate with your family as often as you can, because you just never know. You never know when that won't be around to be able to do that anymore. And time heals everything, but still, it's one of those things to think about. I guess that's what a lot of this kind of drawing and this story is actually allows me to do, is to think back about different times of my life, and my relationships with people, family. It's a nice little journey, nice little time going back into time. It's nice to think about those things sometimes. Keep on misplacing pins. Oh, it is not good. Spend more time looking to find out where I put it. When I got a drawing today. You get so engrossed. When you're passionate about something, it's like everything slows down. Time slows down. You're focused on what you're doing. And for me, it's art. So I'm just looking at these objects in my drawings and seeing shadows and paying a lot of attention to that, along with thinking back about my past and the people that are in my life. It's very meditative. Very meditative process for me. And I'd imagine it's that way for most people that enjoy drawing, that have brought art into their life, because it's a way to build your own world, to build your own. If you're into that kind of thing. I've always liked reading books and fantasizing and daydreaming, so it's always been a part of my life anyway. So art really just goes hand in hand with that whole concept. And you can just literally get lost. Not necessarily lost, but you can definitely take away the time doing, if you're passionate about something you're doing it, whatever it is. It might be woodworking, it might be a lot of different things, cooking. You get to where time doesn't really matter. It's more of a byproduct of reality than anything. I am excited to put these things in that new mat. See what it looks like. Yeah, I think these pins are great for like comic book stuff. for sure. I like when they dry. I like what the texture of the paint looks like. My cakes are probably going to be, what color do we want our sheets to be? Let's do a red and orange. My favorite football team at this age, my whole life, has been Chicago Bears. The reason why I watched Chicago Bears play was because my stepdad got me into watching the Chicago Bears play. He was a Seattle Seahawks fan, being from this area. And I really enjoyed watching the Bears play. And it was mainly because I really liked Walter Payton. He was a fantastic running back. Sorry if you guys aren't into football. But it's definitely been a part of my life. My whole life. Still a Bears fan. Still watch the Bears play. Alright, guys. I think that's it. So, this time reminds me of when I was young. And this alien. This is a redo of a panel that I did over there, so I'll keep that out of the equation. But this panel right here, this alien, was an alien that used to tell me, or my thought, that come in my mind was that I shouldn't start a project unless I knew I had the skills for it and that I could complete it. I wouldn't even start a project if that wasn't a viable solution. So, looking back, I see that it was all part of my growth. A lot of this was all part of my growth, and I'm not saying it wasn't necessary for the time to go through those things, but it's definitely necessary for me to address it now and to go back and tell this story and say, hey, I'm going to take back what was taken from me. And going forward, I don't have a problem. And I haven't for many years trying new things. Probably shortly after my accident in my 30s, mid 30s, I decided to start trying all kinds of new things. Just really needed outlet. I was going through a lot of rough times, and art has always been my friend, you guys. And I hope that I can inspire other people to do the same. If you're going through a hard time, or anything like that, or you just need some time to meditate and to relax. This is a great way to do it. You don't have to be an expert artist. You don't have to have an art degree. You don't have to have any of those things. All those things will create their own set of challenges and their own, things in life for folks. This is my journey, and I'm always interested in knowing what your guys' journey is and where you guys are at on your art walk. If you feel comfortable or confident enough, let us know in the comments how you feel about drawing and where you're at with drawing and how it helps you meditate and think and to overcome, more importantly, overcome and grow with it. So let's get these things into the panels, and I'll meet you guys over there. All right, now that we got the panels set, we're going to go ahead and cut them out and get them ready to put inside the mat. I'm excited to show you guys the mat. I'm really liking how the panels are looking inside of it. And this is a pretty big image here, so I'm going to use the scissors on this one. And there are going to be some stuff standing outside the mat, so it's not all going to be behind the mat. Like, I'm going to put this guy's head outside the mat. This alien's getting a little older too, see, so he's not as young as he was when I was young. He's aging with me. Alright guys, now that we got our mats, or our panels cut out, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the mat, and then I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright guys, here's Bella. This is our new addition. This is the alien that told us not to start a project if it wasn't going to turn out good. If we didn't understand any of the stuff that we were working with, probably wouldn't be a good idea to start the project to begin with. There's the alien that told us that erasing was not a good idea, that you weren't an artist if you erased anything, that the picture wouldn't turn out good if there was any lines left. In Walton Lake, there's our city. There's the alien that told us that tracing was bad, and if we traced, we weren't an artist. Alright guys, thanks for joining Bella and I in our studio on Project Monday. Until next Monday, you guys take care. Peace.